Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of your favorite TV shows, movies, and current events.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Steve, aka Watch the Beat. I'm here with my boy Jazz.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found.
Yo, Salaam Nerds. It's your boy Neebs, aka Watchbit Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka DJ Zoran.
Really? You want to talk about Zoran first, or do you want to talk about Andor first?
We're gonna talk about Andor, but listen, we can talk a little bit about Zoran. We'll talk about it later, but we'll make it a separate episode. The episode that will come on right after this episode, we're gonna talk about a little bit of New York politics. We're gonna talk about Zoran. Don't mess with
and
the Zoran.
we'll talk about how I'm helping him all the way from Houston, and how you can help him no matter where you are in the country.
Let's go. All right. I mean, we don't have a lot of time. I mean, there's only like a few days left, so we gotta, put our pedal to the metal.
And I will tell you the greatest organizing secret in the world in that next episode.
All right. So stay tuned for our next episode, and we'll have this up. But let's go back to Andor. I know we've been trying to do the episode. We finally get episode 7, 8, 9. And we're almost done. We're almost done with this. I wanted to give every single episode its justice, its due. So at the end of the last episode, it ended in a banger. We see Bix and Cassian walk away after blowing up Dr. Gorsh. Amazing scene, phenomenal. Now we go 2 years later. We're in 2BBY, I believe. They're on Yavin 4. Bix and Cassian are living together, super happy, or so we think.
Super cute.
Super cute, having a little bit of their happiness. They finally get to be a couple. And while this is happening, Cassian has a little bit of an injury, and Bix takes him to a force healer, and he gets force healed. And then this lady's like, whoa. I don't know if all the stuff that I've been doing is real or not, but when I do it with you, it is different.
I mean,
so what does that mean? Does that mean that Cassian has something to do with the Force? Like he's part of the Force? Because I think everyone is part of the Force, technically, right?
everyone does have some force in them. It's those with high midi-chlorian counts that can wield it.
Yeah.
But that scene in particular, when she's force healing him, geez, what are my thoughts here? Shit, I lost my train of thought. Give me 1 second. Come back to me.
We'll get back to you. But she tells Bix that Cassian is a messenger, and messenger is usually a word reserved for like a prophet, right? Like a prophet is a messenger. But in this case, she actually means like a literal messenger, because at the end of Rogue One, what does he do? He sends the message, the plans, and that's actually what happens. So it's kind of interesting. Like he is this rebel spy, but in the grand scheme of things, in all of Star Wars, his biggest feat was being a messenger, which is pretty cool.
I mean, that's one hell of a way to go out.
Yeah, right. I thought that was really cool, and what they don't really show us is that Bix and this healer have a little bit of a conversation, and I believe that's what leads Bix to decide to do some of the things she does later on. She has this overwhelming sense of understanding that Cassian is meant for bigger and better things, and if she holds him back, it'll be a detriment to the cause. And
I mean, this is one of those things, like, sometimes I feel like I go through it. Like, I rarely have time to date and all this, just because like I'm doing things that people say are impossible sometimes, and
Yeah, yeah.
so
Like the
like
politics and stuff. Yeah,
right,
sure.
yeah. So I get this feeling quite a bit actually. Like not like I'm saying that this is exactly what it is. It's just that I feel it inside. Like I
Like a
feel
like
what.
a like a calling or like a call to greatness or a call to action that sometimes supersedes one's own desires, right?
Yeah, like I will sacrifice quite a bit to help other people, and a
Yeah.
lot of times I even reflect on it. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why do I keep doing this?
Yeah, you kind of are
But then I
because
just can't stop.
I'm like, your boy's trying to get married, yeah.
Right, yeah, right. People have their priorities, I have mine, but I just don't know why, man. Like I just can't stop. Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
I get it. I understand what you mean by that. It's kind of like what Cassian feels like but the thing is, like Cassian doesn't get to make that decision for himself because he kind of just like he would rather like me just be like, okay, listen, I did my part. When I was young, I put in the work. Now I deserve to be happy. You and me, let's go, let's dip, let's disappear somewhere and have a happy life by ourselves. Right? Which like I get it. That's what Cassian wants. That's what I would want.
Hmm.
But that's not what he's destined for. So
Yeah,
it's
he's not privileged enough for that.
he's a tragic hero in that way.
Yeah.
So we get to see what happens to him. All right. So now we know that the Empire has the plans to do a false flag operation. That's what they're trying to do. They know that the protest's happening. They know it's peaceful, but they know exactly how to incite these protesters so that it seems like it goes out of hand, super easy propaganda. It was their fault. They were the aggressors. Boom. Where have we seen that before?
Do you want something close to home, or do you want something in the world, or do you want something somewhere in between?
Take your pick. It's like Baskin Robbins. We have 31 flavors of this.
Honestly, yeah, like so many goddamn things recently. Like particularly
Yeah.
the LA riots, all the
Yeah.
campus protests. Obviously everything going on the other side of the world. It's very common.
Like after watching this show, it's like really like obvious that it really isn't the protests and stuff inciting violence. Is you do very little. Like you need to do very little. One misunderstanding, one push, one like smallest thing can ignite something like that, right? And the police do not give a shit about de-escalation. They
No.
are like, yeah, let's bash some heads because they're, I mean, not old, but there are quite a few of them. That's what they want.
De-escalation training in the police force is like relatively new,
Interesting.
and police departments do it, but
Sure.
only a handful of them in the country do it well.
Yeah. That makes sense. I get that. In this situation, they had no plans to actually de-escalate in the show.
No.
Uh, they had snipers up on the roof and they shot the police officers, which in terms, it was friendly fire, but no one really knows that. So then they go ahead and they start shooting random people. And the person they shoot is like some random guy super far away, nothing in his hand. He's hanging off a pole. Uh, and boom, that's it.
That's it.
It's over. And like before that, they were very peaceful. They were singing little Gorman carol. Like this guy comes up and he's like singing their little anthem, and should have known it was a trap.
It's cute, but
Yeah. So
yeah.
this is what becomes known as the Gorman massacre, and we see
2.0.
this, yeah, and we hear this in other mediums in Star Wars, like the animated series. They talk about that in Rebels, quite a bit, and it's
Well,
interesting.
Rebels actually ties in directly
Yeah, yeah. So
to Andor. Like,
yeah.
we can talk about that in the next episode. Actually, in the next
No,
Andor
I
episode,
think it
actually.
actually is happens in the ninth
Oh,
episode.
it was at the end of 9. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So at the end of 9, it ties into Rebels, like
Rebels.
season 3, episode
Yeah,
19 or
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It does. So yeah, they know it's a trap. And we kind of get this like Les Miserables like a feeling these French
Do
people and like
you hear the people sing? Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of like what's happening. And we see Cassian, he is actually on Gorman around the same time for a completely different reason. He's trying to kill and assassinate Deirdre.
What a
And
coincidence.
yeah, and as he gets there, the bellhop who was in one of the few episodes earlier on, he's been promoted. Now he's at the desk
Mhm.
and he remembers Cassian. And I think he says something about like you have to hope they don't remember me, and he goes like rebellion is built on hope. And I was like, that's the line from the show. I love that. Like, to find out
That's
where he
also the line
got,
from Rogue One and how it
yeah,
carries through. Yeah.
I love that we got to see where he gets that line from, because he gets the line from this bellhop who has the story about like what happened to his like father or grandfather at the second Gorman massacre. The first one was when Palpatine dropped his like plane or ship right on all these people, and he was like
Not
his
Palpatine.
grandfather.
I believe it was somebody else.
Oh, Tarkin.
Tarkin, yeah.
It was Tarkin. You're right. You're right. Tarkin. He basically parked his ship on a bunch of innocent people, and they all died. And the bellhop talks about it. And yeah,
His
so he
parents were
goes.
part of it, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes. Rebellions are built on hope. And we have Andor say that to Jin, and then Jin says it to the Rebel Alliance to get them to go. And like it's like this little like I don't know. It's this cute little game of telephone where like they're using this like line, and it's such a beautiful line, and it just like makes it so much more like gives it more gravitas a little bit. It's not just a
It's
random thing that he says. It's
yeah.
actually like something he heard the day of the Gorman massacre.
And he
Yes.
carried it through. And it's amazing how something so small, like somebody just saying a few words, can have this butterfly effect that leads to change. Like it's
Right?
beautiful. Hmm.
Right? Like this bellhop saying this thing on this day made him remember this. And this line basically is like the ignition, the fuse that sets everybody off to go do this.
Yep.
Because they were like, no, we're not in Rogue One. They're like, we're not going to go help you. This is suicide. We're not going to do it. But Jin's speech got enough people excited that they were like, you know what? We're going to come help you.
Yeah.
Without those hundreds of people, nothing would have happened.
Nothing, yeah. And
So
then everything that
that's
led to the blowing of the Death Star wouldn't have happened.
and that's what I love about this show, because every little actor, and I don't mean actor as in like theatric actor. I mean actor as like a player, like someone doing their part, has an effect on it, right? Like
Hmm.
Lonnie, like so many people. If they didn't do some of the smallest things, none of this would have happened.
Yep.
So it's really crazy. Like everyone's like people always say like I'm just one person. What can I do? And the show is like kind of shows you like you never know. You really never know how much one person can have an effect
I mean,
on a
if you want
rebellion.
me to weave some more Zoran into this,
Yeah.
in the next episode, I will tell you the one little thing you can do. It takes about an hour, but it can create a tidal wave. So stay tuned for that one.
You know what? We'll share it on this episode, and we'll also share it on the next one. We'll do it both. We'll do it in both places. Do it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what else happens. So, yeah. At this point, Cyril is figuring out what's happening. He's
Yeah.
figuring out he's getting played, and when he finds out, he does not force choke Deidre. He does it old school.
Straight up chokes her, yeah.
He does it old school, and she's like, "No, we're gonna get everything we want." And he's like, "I didn't sign up for this. Like, you use me, and you use me to do something terrible." Like, Cyril is such an interesting character because, like, he's not a bad person. He's someone who just like follows the rule. It just happens that the rules are made by the Empire and the evil people.
I'll tell you right now, the Nuremberg trials would not have seen it that way.
Yeah, yeah. But like, but what? Well, I don't mean that, but I do mean that like, if he was born, uh, under like, you know, the rebels,
Slightly different
slightly
circumstances.
different circumstances, like he would be a stand-up person. So it was really, really
Mhm.
interesting because he started to have sympathy for the rebels and stuff like that, like a little bit. So
The
it's
gore,
really
you mean, not the rebels. He's
the
fine.
Gories, yeah, the Gories. They're
Yeah.
not the rebels. I mean, yeah, I mean, they're part of the rebellion. But yeah, after this crazy thing happened, goes down, Cyril is just out there and he's just like watching all the carnage happen. The guy who runs the Gorman people, his daughter gets like thrown across the room by the K2SOs, like the
Yeah.
KX droids and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh damn. First of all, these KX droids are crazy because number one, they don't use any guns, any weapons. They're just like their main attack is like, yo, we're just gonna toss people.
Blunt force trauma. Yep.
Blunt force trauma, the PFT. Oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, and then Cyril in all this like carnage happens to see Cassian just randomly there, and they just start having this brawl. And as they're having this fight, the funniest thing happens. Cassian goes, "Who are you?"
And he just freezes.
And he's like, "This motherfucker doesn't even know my name."
I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of this scene in that whole thing.
I was like, "Yo, that's gotta hurt our boys." Why were you not a fan of that?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna hurt Cyril, but also at the same time, I'm like, really? That's what got him to pause for like 10 seconds for somebody else to shoot him? Like, come
Yeah,
on, man.
yeah. Rylander, he comes and he shoots him. I'm like, his thing is because they do meet at one point. They only met once, but for Cyril, he was like his white whale. He was like the biggest thing to him, and then he came to the realization like this person. I'm not even a blip on their radar. Like they don't even. It's like that Don Draper meme where he's like, "I feel bad for you." He goes like, "I don't think about
I
you
don't
at
even know
all."
you. Or the Thanos one with the uh with Scarlet Witch. He's like, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are.
I don't even know who you are. Oh man, that's so funny. Because that's what Cyril felt. He's like, God damn it. Um, but yeah, they're having little things. Luckily, Cassian is saved. They try to run away. As they're trying to run away, uh, this this guy who did the biggest fuck up and killed Val's girlfriend. I forgot her name. Got her killed. Cinta got her killed. He had a little redemption arc. He comes and he saves Cassian from this KX droid, and that droid is the one they decide to sneak away with, who later becomes K2SO,
K2SO. Yeah.
which is cool. Because then you're like, oh, that's how they met. Because technically, this is a retcon. Because there is a comic out there where they talk about how K2SO and Cassian met, and now that comic is no longer like real. They retconned
It's
it.
not canon, yeah.
It's not canon, yeah. So I don't know. I thought that's interesting. I don't know how people feel about that. I have not read that comic, so I don't know. I kind of like this. I'm not mad at it. But we'll see. We'll see. But K2SO does. Once they put him online, he's hilarious. Alan Tudyk, yo, that guy kills. That guy. If you have not seen, first of all, I have gone crazy viral because of Alan Tudyk. He is in the show called
When?
Resident Alien, where he
Oh,
plays the alien. And I did a reaction video to that. 60.1 million views.
Allah knows.
Yeah, the probably goes Allah knows. 60.1 million views on Instagram alone, not including the views on TikTok, which were like another 30 million, and not including all the ones where like people download my video and post it on their own meme pages. Like,
Of course.
yeah, my face has been over like it could be like 100 million times viewed, which is a little crazy to me when I think about it.
Well done, man.
Well, shout out to Alan Tudyk. I didn't do nothing. Alan Tudyk did all the work. I just reacted to it.
So you're taking credit for Alan Tudyk's work? Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Coming to me page to take credit for your work? Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So now they're doing this whole propaganda thing. So like the public thinks that these are outside agitators who came to Gorman and they did all this stuff. And like, where have you heard that before, right? Like these people don't really go to Columbia. They're outside agitators. And I've heard this before. I've
Sounds
heard this.
very familiar. I
Sounds very
wonder.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. So like there is this whole facade going on right now. And the guy in the Senate who is the leader of the Gorman, he has this like crash out where he's like, "It's my people today, it'll be yours tomorrow," which is one of those things that actually does, get people in real life to kind of support each other in a way. It's like, first of all, you should be supporting oppressed groups because it's just the decent human thing to do. But there's also this like concept where like, hey, if they're gonna come for this person and I'm not gonna speak up, they're gonna come for that person, I'm not gonna speak up. Then when it's my turn, there's gonna be no one left to speak up for me, right? I think a famous Jewish, I believe, what you call it, poem or some kind of like
A
prose.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was a cool way to kind of show that, and that's kind of like what he's saying in this point. So Mon Mothma is like, she's got this idea. She's like, all right, I am going to give a speech because somebody in the Senate accidentally said the word emergency. Once someone says emergency, you can do this like thing, and it's so interesting. It's like
There are certain rules that
certain
trigger that allow you to do things. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, which I think is really interesting because I believe like our system has something too, like these filibusters and all that stuff, like these random rules that we don't really know about that like
They're
trigger
not
things.
random,
I mean, they're random for the like dumb person like me.
bro.
like I Chaz, where are you going?
I cannot believe I have this at this perfect time. This is a book called Robert's Rules of Order. Most organizations use this to run their meetings.
No way.
And there are certain tricks in here that if you learn them, you can kind of do a lot of things. And, unless the other side does it perfectly and there aren't like other rules or laws, like, your bylaws that you can tap into to get away with things, you can use Robert's Rules of Order to stop a lot of things, and you can use bylaws to stop a lot of things.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and
I
I have this book because we run meetings like nationally, and so
Yeah, that's pretty
mhm.
cool. Yeah, drop that in the link. I think people might be interested in
Yeah,
checking that
it's a
book out.
little book.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah. So like if the thing is like, so basically someone said emergency, so now someone can call for some emergency meeting, and what they do is like this person, he's like,
They
yes, and
invoke
I'm
article for whatever. Yeah.
article something, and then he's like, but I'm gonna give my time to the senator from Alderaan. And then the senator
Yes.
Alderaan says, I'm gonna give my time to Mon Mothma. And it's kind of like this like little game of like they're passing the buck along to the person so that they do not expect this to happen. Right.
Yeah, and
They're playing these games.
that's how the filibuster works. Like, you can speak as long as you want, uh, and then if you need a break, you yield for questions
Yeah.
without yielding the floor, so people can ask questions, and while they're asking questions, you can drink water and whatnot, and
Yeah, so it's like this
keep
like
going.
little like chain that happens where it can't be broken because it has to
Yeah,
go. So they have to let Mon Mothma speak. It's not
correct.
like they could have like ended the session. They could have done something crazy or yeah,
You
book of
follow the
order.
rules of order.
Follow the rules. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. That was really cool to see that in Star Wars there's this like order of like stuff happening. And what happens is right after this, the way they got away with this, the emperor kind of shuts down everything after this. After this, it's all hell breaks loose.
Are
So
we not
originally,
going to talk about speech and what she said?
yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. So we're gonna talk
Okay,
about
I was
that.
like, are we skipping ahead? What?
No, we're definitely gonna talk about that. I definitely want to talk about that. That speech is probably one of the best speeches in all of Star Wars.
All of TV.
Maybe all of TV. Like it's so relevant. Like what's
All of
happening right now.
entertainment?
It's so interesting. Like the death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. Like preach.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was really amazing. One of the best speeches I've ever
The
heard.
whole speech just had bangers, and then she said the word genocide.
And when
I
she's, oh
never
my
thought I would
god.
hear that on TV. Like,
And the thing is, like the showrunner, he has gone off and said like, yeah, no, it's not really left leaning. The show is not really supposed to be for left. Like, he's got to say that, right? He's got to say that. Like, this is making him say that. Like, there's no way there isn't a little sprinkle. This genocide has gone on like for like 2 years now, right? So like, it's like a year and a half. Like, there's got to be a little sprinkle of like what's going
well,
on here.
he said this scene was recorded in May of 2023.
Oh, so that is a really good chance then.
No, this was months before what's happening, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the thing though, right? They said in season 1, I think Nemec, is that fascism doesn't change. It's the same playbook. So
Yeah.
like the fact that it's happening now and it could be applied to something that's happening in the Middle East, it just goes to show you that yeah, we should be able to recognize this by now because it's the same playbook over and over with different uniforms. And the
But
fact that we don't do anything about it is crazy.
I do want to come back to what you were saying about this being left or right leaning. This shouldn't be left or right leaning.
Yeah, you're
Like,
right.
if fascism is here, you fight it left or right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Like, where are the patriots?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the whole point of the Second Amendment? Like to
Yeah.
stop
Yeah,
the country from
literally,
tyranny?
yes. This is not a left or right thing. Like,
Yeah,
if fascism at your doorstep, you fight it.
yeah.
It's kind of funny how the people who claim they're gonna fight it are not fighting it, which is just in our scenario, and the
Yeah,
ones who are supposed
yeah,
to be allegedly propagating it are like, no, we're gonna fight it.
yeah. The other thing that I think she does really well in the speech is that like she's talking and she waits till the very end to name names. She like, this monster is Palpatine. This monster of our own creation is Palpatine, and that's when it gets cut off. And it's like that, like the way she writes her speech in the pacing of it and how she like slowly gives more info. Like when she is talking in the beginning, it's so vague. And it's just like it could be about anything. And then you kind of understand what she's talking about. Then she's like being like vague about like exact. Then she says genocide. Then she brings Palpatine. Like it all happens in a order where like you are hearing this speech and you don't even realize it. Like it just like sneaks up on you. And it's such a good like master class in speech writing.
Mm-hmm. All the great orators of all time do this. Obama was actually very good at doing this.
Yeah.
If you remember his speeches, he was very good at this. Um, you just thread that needle perfectly and just go with it. Like, this is what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. No. And then this is where all hell breaks loose and Cassian has to go and basically break her out and save her. So like Cassian
Mm-hmm.
just happens to be in like all these like big moments. Like, and it's really interesting because we, after she gets like I believe rescued and taken, this is when rebels actually crosses with this because
Correct.
they have to sneak Mon Mothma out through the rebels, what you call it,
Mm-hmm.
the show, the rebels. They're the ones who kind of did. And then she does a second speech, I believe, on board the ship, which is the one you see in the cartoon in the animated series.
The
So
hologram, yeah, where she's
the
like joining
hologram,
us, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And this is like the big moment. This is the big rebel moment, which we get to see, which is really really cool. Uh, I really enjoyed them like adding that in there, in this scene. What were your thoughts?
I truly loved this stand that she took. I mean,
Yeah,
peak TV. This is like One Piece level for me.
yeah. And then it's just so good. And like I said, like Andor coming out. He's so smart because he's like, the driver is compromised, and he's like, goes up to the driver. He's like, hey, we got her. He's like, who's you? Shoot you. Just takes out the driver, and like you can see, like he is a little like cold blooded, but he's also like experienced. Like when the
Yeah.
Gormans were like trying to do all this stuff, she's like, they don't know what they're doing. Andor knows what he's doing. Like,
How I feel about most campaigns nowadays. They don't know what they're doing.
they
I know
don't
what
know
I'm
what they're
doing.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we
And
go.
then
Go ahead.
Mon Mothma says the funniest thing. She's like, I'm not sure I can do this. And then Cassian's just like, too bad. Welcome to the rebellion.
Yeah. And like she was like, after all this happened, he's like, make it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you have to understand, like she's giving up a lot. She's giving up her family, her daughter.
Her life. Everything.
You know what's really interesting about her daughter? Her daughter is like what, like 17 years old?
Oh, I thought she was like 14 or 15.
I thought
Every episode does go like up a year or two. So yeah, maybe she's 16 by now or 17.
she's like, yeah, like say like at the end of the series, she's like what, 16, 17?
Yeah.
Right? Because like the wedding happened earlier.
And she was
in
like
the thing.
14 or something at the time, right?
Yeah, and then like we skipped 2 BBY between the episode 4, 5,
Yeah, so
6,
she's like
and 7, 8,
15,
9.
16 then.
So
Yeah.
she's 16 now. And the interesting thing is they're friends with the people from Alderaan. So her and Leia may be around the same age. They're in the
Yeah.
same circles. They're on Coruscant. Their parents are politicians.
No,
Leia was young
Oh.
when in
episode 4?
Yeah. In A New Hope, she's very
God.
young.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
I
Okay.
think she was like 18 in real life even.
She was 19 in A New Hope. My God, yeah.
So like, yeah, so if she's 16 now and there's still a few years until Rogue One, she's probably like they're 4 years apart at most. They could have went to the same high
Yeah.
school on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm. They could have, yeah.
Right? They could have been in the same circles, which is really interesting.
Amazing how differently their lives are going now.
I know. Like honestly, they could do a Mean Girls Star Wars with like Leia and what's the girl's name? I think her name starts with an L
Leda.
too.
Leda.
Leia.
Leda? Yeah.
Oh my god. I just thought of that. It's
They're
so
a year
crazy.
apart. Leia was born in 19, and Leda was born in 18.
They're a year apart. Yo, they could totally be Mean Girls at Star Wars. Coruscant Mean Girls. At Coruscant High. Oh, that's so crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was really, really interesting. All right. So they're back on Yavin, and we see Melshi for the first time. He was one of the people that broke out of the prison in season 1. He's also in Rogue One. He's one of the people that goes on the mission with them at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So we see him again. And we also find out that Bix has left Cassian. And she breaks up with them on this video message call, and she says, when this whole thing is over, come find me. But she just kind of leaves them. So here's the thing about this. A lot of people are like, okay, Cassian had this huge love. Bix, she decided to leave him, but she did say, come look for me. And then in Rogue One, he's kind of with Jin. But then when I rewatched it, honestly, it feels very platonic to me.
They hugged at the end. They didn't kiss. Like
There was no romance. Like, I think in my head, like when I first watched Rogue One, I was like, oh, there's romance starting, but they end up dying. They never get to really explore their romance. And like now that I watch Rogue One, I watch that scene completely differently. Now it feels very platonic.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were mad. They're like, Cassian is a playboy and he's like a player, and like he's doing that. And like that may be true. That may be true. But to me, I watched that and there's like nothing shady about it. It feels very platonic to me.
Yeah. Like if you rewatch Rogue One, you see it completely differently now.
Yeah. That's crazy how this prequel show can make you watch the movie in a completely different light now.
Yeah. And it adds so much more depth to Rogue One. Oh my god.
It really does. It really does. And we finally see K2SO come online, and he is as sassy as ever. And I really do like to see him in the next few episodes. It's gonna be fun. But the last episode ends right here. So that's pretty much all the things that I want to talk. Did we miss anything?
No, that's it. If you wanna, there's one fun fact. Rogue One was released on my birthday.
Oh, very cool.
This is the
Very
greatest
cool.
birthday present ever. Thank you, Star Wars.
That's funny. That's funny. I, yeah, that's true. That is pretty cool. All right, I don't have anything else, but do you want to talk about how people can get involved in certain elections that are going on right now, and we can, share it with them?
What if I said no right now? How funny would that be?
No.
So, Neves, I'll ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you know what a phone bank is?
Yes, I was in a phone bank.
For Zoran?
No, I mean, I was with back when Trump was trying to get about to get elected. There was a whatchamacallit, a phone bank for Biden back when the first time around.
In 2020. Got it.
Yeah. So I was in a phone
Got
bank
it.
for Biden.
So you were making calls to random people and,
Yes, giant
trying
group
to get them.
chat. They gave us a script. We just called and read the script.
So, let me ask you another question. Do you pick up calls from unknown numbers?
I do not. Sometimes, but mostly no.
This is my frustration with a lot of campaigns when they say, "Oh, we need volunteers from across the country to phone bank," and you know, last year the national campaign said phone bank, phone bank, phone bank.
Yeah.
But Neebs, if you're not going to pick up calls from unknown numbers, do you think a phone bank would work on people like you?
I mean, it. I guess it depends. I would say no, mostly. I mean, every now and then I'll pick up, but that's because like I am very paranoid that like because I don't save people's numbers, so sometimes I'll pick it up. But for the most part, no. Especially when like it says spam or something like that, or like I see area code I don't recognize. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my frustration with campaigns. 80% of people don't pick up calls from unknown numbers.
Yeah, I would say
Now,
that's true.
if, I called you and I asked you to go vote for Zoran, would you go do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Why would you do it? Do you trust me or
I
why?
trust you. I trust you. I do. I've listened to you speak, and I feel like you know what you're talking about. And I think that's the thing that people don't realize. People think that they have to know everything, and sometimes what you have to know are people and sources you trust, and you just trust them to help you make informed decision. Because expecting everybody to know everything about every candidate is insane.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's just not going to happen. So, this is really why I do what I do, especially with my organizing. I do something called relational organizing.
Mm.
And it's essentially taking this concept and doing it multi-level marketing style.
Oh, so you're taking strategies from the scammers.
Yes, I'm doing multi-level marketing for progress, not profits.
Ah,
Because, like, think of it this way, man. If I called you and I got you to go vote, right?
yeah,
I call my other friends, get them to go vote. They're
yeah,
gonna listen to me because they trust me.
right.
And then what if you start doing it?
Then there's more people.
Yeah, and then what if you got one of your friends to do it?
Then there's more people.
You see where I'm going with this?
There's also a level of accountability. If your friend asks you to vote and you say you will, you kind of have to. Whereas like a stranger told you to vote and you say yeah, you may not ever see them again, so you don't have to.
You're right. And you know what's even funnier?
What?
I'm about to tell you about a tool that not only helps you track this, but if your friend says they're gonna go vote and they don't go vote, it will tell you, and you can really
What?
shame them for being.
What?
Oh, did you not know your voting record's public?
What? I did not know that. I don't really
Yeah.
care, but
Okay. So what I mean by that is it won't show you who you voted for, but your voting record that is public, it will tell people if you voted or not.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Right. So this tool I use, it's called Reach Progressive Organizing. You can go on the App Store, the Google Play Store, and download it.
Mm.
And this is used by multiple campaigns. It's actually started from AOC's 2018 run, the first time she ran.
Mm.
One of the guys from her campaign, his name's Jake DeGroot. He's a good friend of mine. He created this app to do AOC strategy, but for other campaigns to make it easier. Because back then they did it on spreadsheets and it's kind of hard to track.
Right.
This guy made an app to do it. And it's called Reach Progressive Organizing.
Mm.
And Neebs, real quick, do you think you can download it on your phone? I want to prove a little point to you to show you how quickly this can be done.
I do not have my phone on me. Sorry. I
Oh,
left
okay,
it
rip.
upstairs. Sorry.
Okay,
My
yeah.
bad.
Okay. Well, I
I
promise you to
failed.
download it.
I
But
promise you I will download it.
Yeah. And then when you sign up for it, you're going to look for the Zoran for New York campaign. You're
Okay.
going to join it. The first thing you're going to do is going to ask you to import your contacts, and it's going to ask you to match them to the voter file. Now, people are always wondering, oh, they're trying to steal my data, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. The reason why it's not taking your data is because what I just said, it's trying to match it to the voter file. So when you're matching it, if I don't have something to match it against, how can I match it?
Mm.
So, yes, the political parties have your information, they have your address, they have your number, they have your voting history.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes sense.
This app, what it does, it brings that voter file onto your phone, and then you on your phone go through your phone book and be like, oh yeah, this person matches this voter. And that's all you're doing. You're just matching the voter to the voter file. And this tells the campaign, Zoran's team, that you know this person. That's all it does. We don't really need your data because, quite frankly, we have it. But also, the whole point of Reach is for you to make the call to your friends and family.
Mm.
If I were to take the data and do it, I'm back to cold calling, and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Cold calling does not work.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on phone banks. I've had like
statistically
90% of people not pick up. Like,
yeah,
it's just insane, and yet we keep wasting our time on it.
yeah.
But after you match your friends in Reach, it'll show you, are they registered to vote?
Mm.
Not registered. I believe the deadline to register is June 14th to vote.
Yes, June 14th. And if you're registered out of state, say you live in New York but you vote in California, you can have that changed by the 14th.
Yes, you just have to. Believe me, you can do it online in New York, which is kind of amazing. You just need a social security number and your current address in New York and an ID, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can figure out if your friends are registered to vote or not, and then first thing you do, you call them and ask them, "Hey, how do you feel about Zoran?" And you confirm, like, "Hey, okay, they're voting for Zoran." If they, a lot of times you'll be surprised how even people in your inner circles sometimes are oblivious to elections.
They really are. I mean, not even just elections, but like what I notice is people are very oblivious to dates. They'll miss dates, or they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to vote today." Or like, "Oh, that's tonight." Oh, like that happens to people all the time. Even well-meaning people, they miss dates. Some people are just not good with dates.
Correct. Yeah, and so that's the beauty of Reach. It's like when we go on Reach, we ask people, "Hey, are you going to rank Zoran number 1, and then the other progressives, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Most importantly, don't rank Cuomo.
Don't rank Cuomo.
Don't rank Cuomo.
No Cuomo.
Yeah.
It's a new no.
But then the next question I ask is, do you know where to vote and do you know when to vote?
Yeah.
So, and I make them repeat it to me, right?
The where to vote is actually really confusing because the place where you voted for the presidential election may not be the same place you vote for some of these local elections. They change them on you. Yeah.
They change every time because the presidential elections are what we call a uniform election.
Yeah.
So that's your, sometimes your county, state, federal.
Yeah.
A local election like New York isn't always part of a uniform election. It can happen anytime, depending on the legislators, right? But yes, it's different. So it can be different. That's why I like to confirm, do you know when and where to vote? And the cool thing about this is if they say no, you can help them find a place to vote. And then 2, you give them the date. But when they repeat it back to you, psychologically in their mind, they've now made a plan. Like, hey, I'm gonna go vote on Monday. Rank Zoran number 1. I'm gonna do it at, I live in Sugarland, so Sugarland Library, even though, it's not New York. And then I'm gonna go at like 9 a.m. first thing in the morning, get it knocked out.
Yeah.
Right? Once they have the plan, they're more likely to go vote than versus saying, yes, I'll vote, and then just forget about it.
Yeah.
So always ask your friends to not only vote, but when and where to vote. Right?
Yep.
This is gonna
Yep.
drastically increase the
When
likelihood
and
of
where to
them voting.
vote, what time your the election thing ends, and when it starts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all that is important. People don't know that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in New York, I believe the polls close at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they open at 7 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. Early voting begins June 14th, 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have just a few days. But now here's the best part about the Reach app. A couple of days, there's a 24-hour delay, so it may take 1 to 2 days. If your friend says they voted on Monday, and by Tuesday afternoon, like they say they voted at 9 a.m., Tuesday at 3 o'clock, you're looking at Reach again, and it says they haven't voted, they lied to you. And you can call them out on their bullshit. You can bully them.
Mm-hmm.
This election's too important. We gotta bully our friends to make sure Zoran Pai wins.
All right. So yeah, bring back
And then also,
bullying.
I'm doing we're bringing back cyberbullying. I'm also doing Reach trainings every night for Zoran, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm.
There's a Zoom link with their campaign. If you need help with this, please join me. I will show you how to use the app. I will do it with you. And then let's go help Zoran win.
All right, let's do it. Thanks for sharing,
Yeah.
Jazz. We'll drop the link in the episode description, and you guys can get it right there. And hopefully, you can download it and start using it.
Yeah, and here's the coolest thing about Reach. I do it in times you never think you're doing anything else. I've told people hey, if you're on the bus or the subway, go on Reach. Match your contacts, text your friends. Personally, I'm taking a dump because instead of scrolling through TikTok, I'd rather do something great for democracy. You can do it anywhere.
Shitting for democracy.
Shitting for democracy.
On that note, I think we're good with the episode. And thank you for sharing how to save democracy, Jazz.
Mm-hmm. One dump at a time.
One dump at a time. Oh man, yeah. We started off with okay, and never mind. All right, I'm just gonna end this episode right here. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next
Download
time,
Reach.
guys,
Vote for
download Reach.
Zoran. Rank number 1. Don't vote Cuomo.
No Cuomo. And until next time, Salaam, nerds.